Can you hear now? Okay, I think I do see audio output here, so I would assume that it's good. Let me start over. Thank you so much for telling me. I'm glad I didn't know this after a half an hour. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, let me start over again. Welcome to Friday Leadership Deep Dive. I'm Monica Vegalam. I'm a software engineer turned leadership coach. I like to call myself the student of nature of mind. So I study the deep inner workings of mind and try to bring those learnings into practical insights that you can use to grow your career, have a powerful leadership presence, and make a significant impact in your work, in your company, and in the industry. So, I'm doing a series of talks on executive presence, and it got evolved into today's topic, which is how we sabotage the natural presence that comes to us, and then um, how do we get out of that sabotage. There are three steps specifically, and we'll talk about that. So for people watching live or anybody watching the replay, please type in your questions, thoughts, or anything that is unclear in the comments, and I will try to address them as I speak along. um, Okay, so executive presence. It's that thing which you just can't put your finger on. It's a charisma, it's an factor. It's like a sortedness that people have about them that is difficult to explain, but you know it when you see it. You might have met some people, right? After a conversation with them, you're like, what's the deal with this person? In their presence, I just feel confident. Like, I don't know, I'm just so impressed with them, I'm impressed with myself. Like, what's going on? And then you are like, you're drawn to them to talk to them again and again and again. How do you develop that for yourself? That's our topic today. So it's a difficult thing to explore, and we are talking about not just about having the logic, the expertise, and the intelligence, where if you're in a tech company surrounded by smart people, it is important. People can see through it if you don't have any of those. This is something extra that has you show up with confidence, power, and groundedness in the midst of chaos. Everything can be uncertain and going wrong around you, but if you're still grounded in your own presence, that shows a certain trust that people can place in you, that you can lead them towards whether the future looks bleak, uncertain, or whether it looks amazing. So if you want to be that kind of a leader, then this may be the right topic for you to explore and listen to. Okay, let's dive in. I have my notes here, and I have a nice cup of water here. I used to work at Azure IoT, and the cup here says, I'm building the next $1 billion business, and all I got was this crappy mug. And I agree. This is like such a funny thing that I got. Um, it's like when we are in the when we get these goodies, right? That's how we feel. We're doing some important work, maybe not, but look what they gave us. So I cherish this cup. It reminds me of the good times I had with my team. Anyways, let's dive in. Most people, so I have my notes here, I'll keep referring back to them um, on a different screen. And if you have any questions in the meanwhile, as I mentioned, please type in the comments. So most people think that they seek feedback to improve their work, and seeking feedback is a good thing, right? But a lot of times we seek feedback because we doubt ourselves. Seeking feedback becomes a way to cope with a discomfort and a certain soothing that we want, when underneath or that behavior what we have is, I'm not so sure of myself. I don't know what I did in that meeting, was that right, did I say the right thing, I don't know what they're thinking about me. So let me go ask feedback to make sure, to validate myself that yes, I did the right thing. You see the point here? So when you seek feedback with this underlying narrative, it has an effect of setting your self doubt on fire, as in like putting fuel to your self doubt. It increases a little bit, and then it weakens your presence. It shows you as somebody who is not so sure of themselves. You'll know this when you seek feedback and people start cajoling you, like, oh, there is nothing wrong with you, oh, the presentation was great, you did great, I don't know what you're worried about, or keep doing what you're doing. You might have heard some of these phrases. Because people sense insecurities, and they try to kind of soothe that discomfort in us, because we are showing up with that discomfort. If we continue on that path, what happens is people don't get confidence that we can lead, we can do our work, and then they pass us up for opportunities. They have good skills, they did that project well, but maybe next quarter. That's what will go on in their mind. And then there are some other people who will start to push you around, like make you do the grunt work. So it's very important to be intentional about the behaviors that we exhibit at work, even in personal life for that matter. So we know this somewhere. We need to be more confident. But, um, and we post like these bathroom mirror affirmations to get that confidence that you are good enough. But it just doesn't land, right? Why? Let's dive into that. We need to understand this behavior, we need to understand the concept called coping mechanisms, strategies, defenses. I use these words interchangeably, but they all mean the same thing. So let's go with the word coping mechanisms. So these are strategies that we habitually learn to deal with discomfort, risk, and uncertainty. So when we think about how are things going to go from here, I don't know. Like, I want this thing to happen, but it doesn't seem likely. This should happen, but I don't know if that will actually go that way. This shouldn't have gone this way, or my presentation shouldn't have been questioned in that way, or I should have shown up with better audio. I should have checked my mic before jumping onto this live. So I should already be better. These are the narratives that are in our head that causes this discomfort, and we develop certain strategies to soothe them out. Let's look at these strategies in at three levels. Most people understand the basic level, so let's start with level number one. uh, what do we generally know to do to deal with discomfort? Binging Netflix, calling up friends, complaining to partner, eating comfort food, scrolling social media, and various other addictions like alcohol, drugs, etc. We all know that sometimes we get to them because something is uneasy. We don't just do them for fun, but because we are running away from something. Think about the times when you had a conflict with your partner or a friend, and then your phone usage goes up immediately for the next 2 days. Have you been there? I have certainly been there. So that is level number one. Now let's look at level number two. These are behaviors that are good things on the surface, but you actually do them to run away from discomfort too, like cleaning your house, getting to inbox zero, meditating for 2 hours, journaling more than necessary, going to the gym. Now, before you attack me saying that what is wrong with these things, these are good things. These you can do for self care. But sometimes, because they feel so good, we do them because we want to run away from a tough decision that we have to make, or a tough conversation that we have to make. So we do it not from the intention of self care, but we do it to avoid discomfort. Let's look at a different angle of level 2, which shows up at work in a slightly different way. Diving into planning, making spreadsheets. I need more data. I need to do more research. Let's make a document about that. Or we need a process in place for this. Or let's put a group together and kind of hem and haw over this decision that we need to make. We have a one way door decision. There is no way to return back. So let's make sure we are doing all the due diligence before we take that decision. Now, again, there is nothing wrong with these things, but understand the underlying motivation of why you do this. So, uh, then, um, okay, then there is the number three, which is the level three of coping, which looks like seeking feedback and your drivenness and passion to provide value, and your discipline, your hard work, and your commitment, your empathetic and caring nature for your team. These are more complicated coping mechanisms that are very sneaky, very hard to detect. Let's take an example. If you, as a leader, need to make this tough decision in your team, that the future of your team depends on it, there are so many people who are hanging by your decision. Instead of taking a call and standing by it as a responsible leader, you could be going through these three levels of coping mechanism. You might be going to the gym, instead of sending out that email about this decision. Let me just go work out and clear my mind, and then I can think clearly. Again, nothing wrong with that, but see that you're delaying the time. You're introducing a delay. So you might be going to the gym, and then after your gym session the discomfort is still there, so then you call a big team meeting, ask people for opinions, you seek feedback, and then uh, and then you're still kind of not sure about it. You're still in the same discomfort and fear. The truth is that your capacity to handle uncertainty is um, is low when you're resorting to these coping mechanisms again and again and again. When you increase this capacity, that's when your presence becomes stronger. People have a confidence in you that even if the future looks uncertain, you can lead them. Okay, let's see what else I have here. Okay. So, how does this kind of relate to executive presence, right? In your day to day work, if you know what coping mechanisms are you are resorting to, and then you cut them off from your life, from your work, what happens is you are quick to iterate on feedback. You're quick to take responsibility for the impact that you're having. You are quick to make tough decisions, have those conversations, send those emails that actually matter. You are not procrastinating, you are always in risky action that can transform the way your team operates. You can get the results that your team has to give, has set out to do. But what happens is we lose ourselves in these strategies that we have devised, and then we defend them that, okay, I wanted to do that. My intention was not that, but then we ended up doing this, and that's why it got delayed. Or some people just don't even get to the point of taking responsibility for these strategies that we have. So how do we get out of these? I have three steps for you. Yeah, before the three steps, I want to say that these almost become habitual that we don't even notice. They become the default way of us operating. And strong executives move quickly. Uh, I know that I want to say this with caution that some decisions require time and deliberation, but you will know what actions will actually move the needle and you take those actions. Like if there is a decision, you need to call one particular consultant, you will call that one consultant instead of your entire network of 15 people and ask everybody about that decision. So you are moving quickly and you're showing confidence in yourself that, hey, look, I know the future is uncertain, but this is my stand right now. That draws out trust for you in other people. Okay, so now let's see how to get out of these loops and strategies that we set for ourselves. Because despite our best intentions, that, okay, today at 4 p.m., I'm going to go for a walk, it doesn't happen. 4 p.m. comes and it's like, let me just clear out um, these 500 emails and then I'll go, and then we have something else to do, then something else to do, because our actions don't match our intentions. So how do we kind of get those two together when it comes to getting out of these coping strategies? There are three steps here. First step is notice, second forgive, third is practice. Let's get into each one of them. Notice yourself as you're doing these things. Initially, you when you take up this practice of noticing, you would notice them after the fact. Like after 5 hours of watching TV, you know that you have done it to run away from discomfort. But then get to noticing it so much that you start noticing in the moment as you're doing it. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I saw this app called Gamma app, which is an amazing tool, the amazing AI tool that generates presentations for you. So I had this article written out that I wanted to send, but then somebody somewhere I saw about this app, and then I started tinkering with it, and then I asked to generate, based on my article, I asked it to generate a presentation, and then I was getting sucked into it, and then suddenly I noticed, oh my god, I'm doing this because I'm kind of afraid of putting my article out there. So then I just stopped, and then I was like, okay, this is not helping. And then I moved on to what was actually needed to be done. So, given I know that my awareness came a little bit later, but you can get to a place of noticing this as it's happening. Notice, 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 notice. What happens is when you start noticing, our first immediate reaction is to kind of change it. If you notice that, okay, I'm getting too much process oriented, the immediate reaction is to get laid back. Oh my god, I need to change this, something is wrong with me. Notice that that's also a manifestation of your self doubt in a different way. Don't take action yet. Just keep noticing until you are able to distinguish that in the moment, that hey, right now I am uncomfortable and I'm doing this. See that you're doing it, do it anyway, but notice your discomfort too. What am I uncomfortable about? What is the thing that I need to do? Okay, so that's number one, notice. And then second one, it's this step is very important, don't skip it. Second one is to forgive yourself. You need to come to a place of feeling that there is no other way this could have been. There is no other way I could have been. Because the tendency of our mind is that I should be different, or somebody else should be different, life should be different. If I didn't if only I didn't go to this particular high school, I would have turned out differently. We have all these ideas, right? We have a lot of shoulds, coulds, and what ifs. Forgiveness is a practice for ourselves that takes away that burden from us. There is no other way you could have reacted to the discomfort that you are getting. Get out of that high bar that we have for ourselves, and just forgive yourself. Okay, it's okay that I have watched 10 hours of TV yesterday instead of working on that document that I set out to do. Maybe I had to do that to reach this place of determination to do it differently. So you forgive yourself for that. So that's number two. Number three, now is the time to practice differently. Now, this practice is not just about saying what I said before. Let me just change the way I'm doing things completely. It's not just about changing the action, it's about practicing a different way of being. That is, you practice who you are at the level of your identity. Let me see what else I have here. Yes. So, however the reality turns out, I take a stand that I am a writer, I am a leader, I am an engineer, I am a scientist, I am a coach. And when I take that stand, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of me, it doesn't matter what events happen around me. I am this person, and I will take actions in alignment of who I am being. It's not just about changing your actions, it's about practicing a different way of um, identity, of a personality. So for me, when I do these lives or any public events, right, a lot of fear does show up, because who knows who is watching and judging, right? And it kind of keeps me stuck sometimes. I have a fear before going live, before every even I if even though I have done this a few times, every time before I go live, there is a certain fear. Then I check in with what is my stand, what is my commitment. My commitment is to be a coach. I want to be a person who shares insights, who helps people, who helps leaders. So, and then that helps me not make my fear so significant, not make my thoughts that come in so significant. And then it helps me take that stand, make that commitment, and be however things may turn out. Because life doesn't turn out the way we might think it should. Life just turns out the way it does. So that's those are three things. Notice, and then forgive, then practice. So these steps are important in that same order. And this is why I said affirmations don't work, because it is missing the first two steps. It's about uh, directly talking about the third one, which is like you can just say, I am good enough as a mantra to yourself 100 times, but nothing changes because it is laid on top of a certain self doubt and self judgment and a tendency to go for the coping mechanism without understanding what it is, how it comes. If you just tell yourself, I'm a confident leader, I'm a confident leader, I'm a confident leader, it only has a half life. Okay. So today we talked about how coping mechanisms weaken your presence, the three different levels of coping mechanisms, and the three steps to get out of those habitual patterns that we have. Remember, notice, forgive, and then practice. Notice in the moment. So I want to end this by giving you a reflection for the week. As your week goes on in your work, notice where you resort to behaviors that are actually procrastination disguised as productive action. Notice where what you're doing to soothe your discomfort and uncertainty. Drop into your body and see where your breath is kind of short or your belly is clenched. Where notice where you seek more information rather than take action. And notice so much that you notice while you're doing it, not afterwards, while you're doing it. And then forgive yourself. Try this practice this week and see how that changes the way others perceive you. It's a very subtle thing, because it develops a certain trust in yourself, that yes, that's what I do, and I know why I do it, and I own it. Like when I'm faced with a tough decision, I go to the gym or my house gets cleaned or I call like 10 people to make sure that it's the right decision. I know that I do that and I own that. And right now I'm practicing noticing that. I'm in the process of changing that. So when you know that a certain trust develops, and you show with a little more confidence to people that um, there is this constant nagging feeling that we are missing something in life, right? That feeling starts to lessen a little bit, uh, um, little by little. So okay, so the practice is to not just think intellectually about all of this, notice in the moment. Okay, that's all I have for today. And if you're an experienced manager and you need more help building up your executive presence and exceed expectations and have more impact at your workplace, I have a 5-minute exercise that can help with this. Send me a message and I'll send it over. And if you want more in depth help, of course, reach out to me. I'm here. We can chat about that. And remember the practice, remember what we talked about, the coping mechanisms, and see how that plays out in your life, and connect with me and tell me what was your insight, what was your takeaway, whether this was useful for you or not. All right, see you, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next Friday.